What if the internet suddenly disappeared? No Google, no YouTube, no banking, no GPS, no phone signals, no online payments. And what if scientists warned it could happen because of the sun? Right now, astronomers are watching the most unstable solar activity seen in years. Massive explosions are erupting from the surface of the sun, sending billions of tons of charged plasma into space. Most people think the sun is calm, but in reality, it is a giant nuclear storm. And when that storm points directly toward Earth, the consequences can become global. Scientists now believe that a powerful solar superstorm could damage satellites, collapse communication systems, disrupt power grids, and even shut down parts of the internet itself. Some experts call it the next global disaster nobody is ready for. And the worst part, it has already happened before. Tonight on Sky Pulse, we explore the terrifying possibility of a solar storm powerful enough to destroy Earth's internet. When people look at the sun, they see light, warmth, life. But scientists see something very different. The sun is actually an enormous ball of nuclear explosions happening every second. At its core, temperatures reach nearly 15 million degrees Celsius. Hydrogen atoms collide with such force that they fuse into helium, releasing unimaginable energy. That energy travels outward through violent magnetic fields. And sometimes, those magnetic fields twist. They snap, and when they do, the sun explodes. These explosions are called solar flares. Some are small, others are so powerful they release more energy than billions of nuclear bombs. But solar flares are not even the most dangerous part. The real threat comes from something called a coronal mass ejection, also known as a CME. A CME is a gigantic cloud of superheated plasma launched into space at millions of kilometers per hour. Imagine the sun firing a massive magnetic shockwave directly toward Earth. That is what scientists fear. Because if Earth is hit directly, technology everywhere could be affected. And according to space agencies, solar activity is increasing fast. The sun operates in cycles. Every 11 years, its activity rises and falls. And scientists say we are now entering one of the most dangerous periods of the current cycle. Sunspots are appearing more frequently, solar eruptions are becoming stronger, and giant magnetic storms are now being tracked almost every week. NASA and NOAA have both warned that severe geomagnetic storms are becoming more likely. Most people never hear about these warnings. But the experts watching the sun know one terrifying fact. It only takes one direct hit. Modern civilization depends on invisible systems. Most people think the internet exists in the air, but much of it actually travels through thousands of cables buried under oceans. These submarine cables connect continents. They carry financial transactions, military communications, streaming services, emergency systems, cloud servers, everything. Now imagine a solar superstorm striking Earth. The magnetic energy from the storm would slam into Earth's magnetic field. At first, people might only notice strange northern lights, beautiful colors across the sky. But beneath that beauty, invisible chaos would begin. Massive electrical currents could surge through power systems, satellites could malfunction, navigation systems could fail, and underwater internet infrastructure could become vulnerable. Scientists from multiple universities have warned that long-distance internet cables are especially at risk during extreme geomagnetic events. Not because the cables themselves melt, but because the repeaters, the electronic amplifiers placed along the cables, could fail. If enough repeaters collapse, entire continents could lose connectivity. Think about that. No international internet, no cloud storage, no online banking, no social media, no digital business, no communication between countries. The modern world could slow down overnight. And recovery might take weeks, possibly months. Some experts even warn that replacement parts for damaged systems may not be available fast enough. Because modern society has never faced an internet-scale solar catastrophe before. And the scary part is, humanity already received a warning. Back in 1859, In September of 1859, astronomer Richard noticed something strange while observing the sun. A blinding flash erupted across its surface. Hours later, Earth was hit. What followed became the largest solar storm ever recorded in human history. The event was so powerful that telegraph systems around the world failed. Operators received electric shocks. Telegraph papers caught fire. Some systems continued working even after being unplugged. Auroras appeared across the planet. People in parts of North America reportedly read newspapers at night under the glowing sky. Imagine how powerful that storm must have been. And remember, this happened before electricity powered modern civilization. No internet, no satellites, no smartphones, no global infrastructure. Now imagine that same storm hitting Earth today. Scientists believe the damage could reach trillions of dollars. Power grids could collapse, satellites could fail, GPS systems could disappear, air travel could be disrupted, emergency communication could break down. And because almost every industry depends on digital networks, the economic shock could spread worldwide. Some researchers estimate that full recovery from an extreme solar storm might take years in certain regions. Years. And according to experts, storms similar to the event are not impossible. They are inevitable. The only question is when. Over the past few years, scientists have detected unusually intense solar behavior. Massive sunspots larger than Earth have appeared on the sun's surface. Solar flares strong enough to disrupt radio communication have repeatedly erupted. Several geomagnetic storms have already impacted Earth. In some cases, pilots flying near polar regions experienced communication interference. Satellite systems temporarily malfunctioned. And in one event, dozens of newly launched satellites reportedly fell out of orbit after increased atmospheric drag caused by solar activity. The sun is becoming more active, and researchers are watching carefully. In 2024 and 2025, experts observed some of the strongest auroras seen in decades. People across multiple countries suddenly witnessed glowing skies far beyond normal northern light regions. For many, it was beautiful, but scientists understood the deeper meaning. Earth's magnetic shield was being hit by solar energy. Fortunately, those storms were moderate, but they revealed how connected and vulnerable modern technology has become. Today, thousands of satellites orbit Earth. Communication, military systems, navigation, weather tracking, internet services. All of it depends on stable space conditions. A truly massive solar storm could create what experts call a space weather disaster. And unlike hurricanes or earthquakes, space weather affects the entire planet at once. There is nowhere to hide. If a major solar superstorm were detected today, scientists would likely have only hours to prepare. The first warning would come from space observatories monitoring the sun. Satellites like NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory constantly watch for eruptions. Once a CME is launched toward Earth, researchers estimate its arrival time. Sometimes it takes 15 hours, sometimes 2 or 3 days. Then the countdown begins. Governments and power companies could attempt emergency protections. Some satellites might be powered down. Certain electrical systems could be disconnected. But no one knows if these measures would be enough during an extreme event. Then Earth gets hit. The atmosphere begins reacting. Auroras explode across the sky. Radio signals weaken, GPS errors spread, satellite communication becomes unstable. Airlines reroute flights. Power fluctuations begin. Internet speeds slow. Then major systems start failing. Financial networks freeze, ATMs stop working, cloud servers disconnect, cell towers lose synchronization. And because modern cities rely on digital coordination for almost everything, panic spreads quickly. People rush to stores, fuel systems experience delays, emergency services become overloaded. And all of this could begin within hours. Not because of war, not because of cyber attacks, but because of the sun. Some scientists believe the phrase internet apocalypse may sound exaggerated. But they agree on one thing. A severe solar storm could absolutely cause large-scale internet disruption. The internet itself is decentralized. That gives it some protection. But major vulnerabilities still exist. Undersea cable infrastructure, satellite communication, power grids, data centers, cloud systems. Everything depends on electricity and synchronization. And geomagnetic storms specifically target electrical systems. Even a temporary collapse would create enormous consequences. Global markets depend on millisecond communication. Hospitals rely on online systems. Air traffic control uses satellite navigation. Supply chains operate digitally. Without stable internet, modern economies slow dramatically. And experts worry that society may be too dependent on systems it barely understands. One major failure can trigger another. Power affects internet, internet affects banking, banking affects supply chains affect food and medicine. The entire structure is connected. That is why space, where the researchers have repeatedly warned governments to prepare. Some countries are already strengthening electrical infrastructure against geomagnetic storms. But many experts say global preparedness is still dangerously low, especially for a level event. Perhaps the most immediate victims of a solar superstorm would be satellites. Thousands of them orbit Earth right now, and they are extremely sensitive. Powerful solar radiation can damage electronics, disrupt signals, and alter orbital behavior. Astronauts aboard spacecraft could also face increased radiation exposure. During intense solar events, satellites may suddenly lose orientation. Some could stop responding completely. Communication systems would become unstable. Weather forecasting could weaken. Military tracking systems could fail. And because GPS satellites are essential for navigation, transportation industries worldwide could experience disruption. Ships, planes, emergency vehicles, delivery networks all rely on precision timing from satellites. Even banking systems depend on satellite timing synchronization. Many people do not realize this. The world's digital systems are deeply connected to space, and the sun has the power to interfere with all of it. That is why scientists monitor solar activity every single day. Because one massive eruption could instantly become a planetary emergency. The terrifying truth is this: humanity cannot stop a solar storm. We cannot block it, we cannot destroy it, we cannot redirect it. The only thing we can do is prepare. Some power companies have developed emergency shutdown procedures. Engineers are designing stronger transformers. Space agencies are improving solar monitoring systems. Researchers are studying how to harden internet infrastructure. But the scale of the challenge is enormous. Modern civilization was built during a relatively stable technological era. Now, for the first time, humanity's digital world is vulnerable to forces from outer space. And experts warn that extreme space weather is not science fiction. It is science reality. The sun will eventually produce another major superstorm. Maybe next year, maybe decades from now. No one knows. But scientists agree on one thing. It will happen again. There is another possibility researchers rarely discuss publicly. What if a solar superstorm happens during another global crisis? Imagine major internet disruption during political conflict, or during financial instability, or during extreme climate disasters. The psychological effect alone could be devastating. Modern humans are connected every second. Phones, social media, streaming, messaging, cloud storage. Now imagine all of it suddenly becoming unreliable. For younger generations especially, the silence would feel unreal. No updates, no communication, no information. And because misinformation spreads quickly during emergencies, confusion could become dangerous. That is why experts believe governments must begin taking solar preparedness far more seriously. Because the next great disaster may not come from Earth. It may come from the sky. For thousands of years, humanity, the sun. It gave us warmth, light, life. But beneath its beauty lies incredible violence. A constantly shifting storm of magnetic energy powerful enough to affect an entire planet. And now, as civilization becomes more connected than ever before, our dependence on fragile technology continues to grow. The internet feels permanent, electricity feels permanent, communication feels permanent. But one extreme solar event could remind humanity how vulnerable modern systems truly are. Scientists are watching the sun carefully, because somewhere beneath those burning clouds of plasma, another eruption is already forming. And when the next great solar storm arrives, the world may discover just how connected everything really is. This is Sky Pulse, and the universe is far more dangerous than it looks.